Okay, we are recording. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Steve's here with me. He's popping over. Tonight we're going to talk about the first 90 days of your Plexus journey. While I'm talking, I've got everyone muted. As always, you can chat any questions or comments, or you can unmute yourself. You know, we know that the first 90 days of your Plexus journey, whether it be your health journey or just on the products or your business, are the most important 90 days of your journey. They are the most important. We've known this for a while, and Steve, though, has actually been running some reports for our team to even show, so the data kind of backs up how important these first 90 days are. Personally, I know the first 90 days are important because had I stopped taking Plexus before I got to my 90-day mark, there are lots of things that I would not have experienced that are part of my personal Plexus testimony. I would not have experienced a lot of weight loss. I lost a little bit in like the second month. I wouldn't have lost any more had I quit before 90 days. I would not have had improved blood tests before if I'd quit before my 90 days. I wouldn't have had improved skin, thicker hair, stronger nails, better sleep, the motivation to really be active again and start running again. Steve would not have had improved blood work. He actually would not have had his improved seasonal allergies. He would still be on prescriptions. So all of our awesome things that we love about our Plexus testimony that we share and that really made us passionate about these products, they happened well after the 90-day mark. So it's very, very important, especially if you're new on the products. If you only wanted to try them for 30 days, you are not going to get the most bang, and you might even be wasting your money. So, you know, research actually shows if you go and you look at what it takes to make a new habit, it actually tells you, the research shows it's 66 days to a new habit, not 21. There's like that old wives' tale out there about 21 days to a new habit. You can take her. But it's actually 66 days. If you go and you look at research into a leaky gut, so if you have any sort of health ailment that is tied to a leaky gut, and, you know, I'd say what you guys think, like 80% of all health issues are connected to a leaky gut. The research into gut health would tell you that it actually takes 3 to 6 months before you're going to see any changes in healing that gut. So that's why, you know, Plexus is not a quick fix. Those first 90 days are really important for us to have success. Now, you're going to have some quick wins before then. It's not like, oh my gosh, I have to take Plexus for 90 days before I notice anything. No, not at all. You're going to have some quick wins. For me, one of my first quick wins, I had 2 of them within the first couple of weeks. I didn't need a pot of coffee to get moving. I didn't need a pot of coffee when I came home to stay up with the kiddo, and I didn't need a nap. Those to me were quick wins. However, had I been expecting in that time to lose a bunch of weight, or maybe if I'd been expecting not to hit a little bit of die-off, and I would have quit, that would have been my only testimony. And now you guys have heard it. I have this amazing autoimmune testimony that I get to share with people. So you've got to get through those first 90 days. If you're brand new and you're taking your products, it's very important to talk to it's called your sponsor. It's really your friend that you brought Plexus from, right? So we want you to know what could happen in the first 30, 60, and 90 days, all right? You might have some quick wins like I did in the first. Steve didn't. Steve really didn't notice a whole lot until his second month. But he was consistent on it every single day. He saw the changes in me, and he kept at it. So please do not quit. You might wake up one day, you might be feeling great for 2 weeks on Plexus. You might wake up one day and have a headache, right? You might wake up one day and, oh man, you got to run to the bathroom because like you've got to get to the bathroom. That does not mean Plexus isn't working, right? It means your body is getting balanced. And a lot of times, even if you go your first 30 days and you feel awesome, maybe you've even lost an inch or 2, you could hit die off in your second month or your third month. It's pretty common because we don't ramp up that probiotic until the end of your first month that you don't hit die off right away. Now, if you're new and you don't know what die off is, definitely we've got information on the team page. but you can actually do your research. It's called a Hexerheimer response, okay? It is not specific to plexus. What it means is it's your body's process of ridding itself of those toxins, of that dead yeast, the bad yeast that we all have in our gut, the overgrowth that we all have just because of modern day life. When your body gets rid of that for good, you might have this reaction where you have these symptoms. It's kind of that you have to feel worse before you feel better. I know, though, that nobody wants to feel worse before they feel better when you buy Plexus, right? You may be trying Plexus as a super skeptic like I was. I mean, I came home and told Steve, don't tell anyone we're doing this because I don't think it's going to work. You may be trying Plexus because you are just desperate for something to change, to feel better. You may have tried Plexus just because somebody told you to and you're a really good friend or you're a really good family member. So just know, though, that you might feel a little bit worse. And it's a good thing, actually. It means your body is doing what it needs to do, what it actually has probably never done, to rid itself of those toxins, so then you can feel better. And let me tell you, if you get through it, oh my gosh, you're going to feel amazing. So some tips, though, to be successful in your Plexus journey, all right? You guys, you cannot skip days. You have to be consistent, especially in your first 90 days, because that's when your body is getting balanced. And if you skip a few days, you're going to unbalance it again, and then it's going to take you even longer, okay? But you want to do what works for you and your schedule. So if you're like me and you can't remember to take your probiotic before bed, or you actually fall asleep and you forget to take it, set an alarm, keep it on your nightstand, keep it by your toothbrush, do whatever works for you to take it. Or you know what? Take it in the morning. Okay, this goes with all of our products. Now, like Plexus Slim, it definitely works better in the morning. But do what you have to do to remember to be consistent. If you're like me, I was not somebody who took medicine or supplements, vitamins at all. The only thing I ever took was my prenatal, because I was supposed to. And then I'd get on this really healthy kick, and I'm like, I'm going to take a multivitamin. And I'd do it for like 3 days. And then I'd just get out of the habit. So if you're somebody like that, set an alarm, sit the stuff out, sit the Slim with your water bottle, set yourself up for success, okay? The other tip for success on Plexus in your first 90 days is drink your water. A lot of you guys aren't used to drinking water, and that's fine. So don't feel like you have to drink the recommended amount, which is half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 100 pounds, just drink 50 ounces of water a day. If you're somebody who's drinking like 8 pops, like my dad, he was drinking 8 or 9 pops a day. He obviously, on his first month in Plexus, is not going to be drinking all of that water. He's just not used to it. It's not his habit. But try to get as much water in as you can, especially in your first 90 days, as we're killing off all this yeast and the digestive enzymes are doing their work in the triplex, or you're drinking Slim and it's helping, to flush out some of these toxins. You just want to drink more water. Our bodies just obviously work better when you're drinking more water. Okay? The other thing I like to tell people, if weight loss is your goal, one thing you want to make sure you're doing is don't eat or drink bad food out of habit. Make little small changes to be healthy, but listen to your body. I remember I was pretty in tune with what was happening in my second month, and I realized I'm not craving things anymore. I'm going to get them out of habit, but when I get them out of the fridge, it doesn't sound so good. So don't eat it just because you always have or it's a habit. Our products, they're a tool. They're an amazing tool. They're not a miracle, though. So you have to work with them. Now, I promise you they work. I would not be here talking to you guys. I would not have put, I guess I put my job on the line. But what I'm trying to say is Steve and I would not have been doing this and working this as a full-time business if we did not believe and know these products work. But you have to let them. The other thing, guys, your backup order, your auto ship, it has to be on.
Did you turn off your computer?
And it's not because it benefits me. It doesn't. It doesn't benefit me whether your backup order's on or not. It makes no difference, right? But for you to be consistent, especially if you're new and you're not used to taking Plexus, you want your backup order on. You want it set in the first half of the month. Here's why. I can't tell you how many times, and maybe you've already done this. I get a call from somebody They picked up their ProBio bottle and they realized they've only got 5 ProBio left. Well, guess what? By the time they realize it and log in, they're going to run out. Or they realize, oh my gosh, I have 3 sticks of Slim left. And by the time they put in a manual order, they run out. So set your backup order, especially in your first 90 days, and make sure that you're not going to have a lapse in taking your products. Now, if money is an issue, get with your friend who invited you to Plexus, and let's help you. Even if you don't want to get all your products paid for, share with a coworker who you see drinking coffee all day long, and that'll give you a few bucks back in a paycheck.
Do you think I want to go to work?
Okay?
It's life,
now,
buddy. I
as
go to work every day.
sponsors,
I treat my
I want to talk about how we can help our
Come
people stay through those 90 days, right? It's very, very important. Real quick, though, I want to turn it over to Steve so he can talk a little bit about what our team stats look like. And I'll tell you guys, these stats for the first 90 days are across the board. We pulled out some of our bigger legs to think, well, maybe they were just outliers and they were skewing the team, and it wasn't. These are the stats for the whole team. So,
Amy,
do you want to pull up the pull up those couple of slides and go ahead and share them so people can see
he
them?
wants me to get fancy here and share our
Hey,
screen.
Amy, can you hear me?
Because nobody wants to look at me. You want to see something better than just my face.
Let's see if it'll let me here. I got 2 chats real quick. Oh, someone needs to be muted. Okay. I think it's my kiddo. Adelaide, you're too loud. Okay.
There it is. Good. I see it.
Yeah,
Sorry, we're logged into 2 computers. So here's what this is. I'll keep this real simple. So Steve's a data guy. This is what I do, right? You guys have heard my testimony. For those of you that have been around, I tell you that I make decisions, right, based on objectively looking at data. So I've been crunching numbers. So I've taken essentially 2 years of detailed genealogy reports, and I've looked at, well, when do people really start bringing their friends on board, right? As you sign up with Plexus and you start your journey, and you start sharing the experience that you're having, when is it that your friends start to join you, that it gets contagious and they start seeing that? So what the chart is here real quick is just the black curve is since day 1 for you, when do you add your friends to your team, right, as ambassadors? So just going through the first year, and you can sort of see spikes, right? They kind of come at 30, 60, 90, 120, end of the month, we're running incentives, and it sort of makes sense there, right? The red curve is just sort of cumulative. What's the cumulative growth of the team look like through that first year? So when you look at it, in the first 90 days, looking at the entirety of the team and normalizing the day they start with Plexus, in the first 90 days, you add half of all the ambassadors that you're going to add in the first year. That is huge. And what you should think of there is when you start your journey and you're starting to see those first results, you're having more energy, things like that, that is contagious. And if you're not sharing that with your friends and you're not sharing it consistently and telling them, you're missing out, because half of your growth in the first year is going to come right there in the first 90 days. And you know what? In the next 90 days, at least based on 2 years worth of our team of, a few thousand people, the next 90 days, it's going to drop by about half. You're still adding people. The team is still growing, but people are seeing it, and it maybe takes a little more to get them to come along, so it's going to drop. The next 90 days, it drops again. So those first 90 days for the growth of your team, because then every person you add, that's their first 90 days. So the flip side of that, so that was how are we bringing our friends on board to sharing this experience? The second piece of it then is once we bring them on board, how good are we doing at really making sure they're seeing the results they need, so they're staying here to get those longer term results. So don't worry too much about all the colors and stuff. Basically, if I look at everyone from the month they sign up, then do they come back and order products the next month? Do they order products the 3rd month, the 4th month, the 5th month? So what happens is you have this explosive growth in your first month, but the next month for those new people, we're losing 25 to 30% of them. And in month 2, we've now lost about 40% of our people. By month 3, we've lost almost half of our friends that we brought on board.
Sorry, really quickly, we're getting that.
Are we getting chats?
Well, I need to mute everybody. I think a couple people unmuted in there. Okay.
That's all right.
There you go. Go back.
Yep. So, am I still sharing?
Yeah, you're still sharing. Just click the use slideshow.
Okay, so I talked about the first 90 days being so important for bringing your friends on board as you share the excitement early in your journey, but then making sure that we're translating those behaviors to ensuring they're successful in their first 90 days. Because after that first 90 days, and I'm happy to take folks through more of this, but after that first 90 days, things start to level out. It's really key getting people on board in the first 90 days. So think of it that way, sort of twofold. That first 90 days for you building your team, bringing your friends on board, trying to share the health results with them, really critical. But at the same time, making sure all the stuff Amy's talking about, following up with people, testing to see how they feel, really critical for long-term success on the product.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Thank you. Yes, Stacy, we do need to change that curve. And let me tell you guys, if anyone, I'm going to put Steve on the spot. If anybody does want to look at more like their own stats, their leg, he can do that. He's kind of a whiz. And he's also working with our Plexus coach, which is kind of cool. Our team has a coach now, and we can talk about that on another call. But here's the thing. So you've seen the 90 days, right? So we need to focus on those first 90 days. And what do we focus on? Getting people's testimonies. That's what we're focusing on. We're getting their testimonies. We're not getting their welcome packs. We don't care about welcome packs, their orders, their backups. We're focused on getting their testimonies, right? It's not about getting people to join. It's not about their orders or their points. We want their success stories. That's why we're all doing this. I mean, I would say 90% of the people on this call, 90% of the business builders who are working Plexus as a business, none of us started because we wanted the business. We started because we had such an awesome story ourselves. We could not help but share that. So we want to do that with our new ambassadors in those first 90 days. How do we do that? We want to keep it simple, but we have to pour belief into them, okay? We have to have that unshakable belief in the products and the company. And because if you don't, you will lose people. Newbies have zero belief in the products when they order. It doesn't matter how much you talk to them, how much information you've sent them. You've heard me. I came home and told Steve, don't tell anybody we're doing it. I don't think it's going to work, right? So how many times have you heard them say, well, maybe I'll try and see if it'll work, right? But they need belief in the products to get through those first 90 days, especially if they hit die off. And so where do they get that belief from? They get it from you. You must pour your belief into them. You must have that bold confidence about Plexus that just pours from you. And you have to show them you care. It's really easy, I think, especially as your team grows and you get a lot of customers and ambassadors, I think it's easy to slip into kind of a management mode where you're like, okay, send these messages, follow up with these people, send this copy paste, right, blurb or this copy paste follow up. But that doesn't show people that we care about them. So while we may need to schedule our time to where we're scheduling our follow-up, you want to show them that you care. You want to set expectations from the very beginning and have that bold confidence in telling people it's going to take 90 days. If you are not willing up front, don't order, right? Because it can be a big waste of money to take a probiotic for 1 month, right? Like nobody should ever be on ProBio for 1 month. Like that's just a waste. Even the research shows that, when you're on antibiotics, right, that one round of antibiotics for 7 days messes up your gut flora for 12 months. We can't expect the probiotic to fix that in 30 days. So definitely give those expectations. It's okay to tell somebody maybe being an ambassador is not for you. Maybe you just want to try it as a customer. It's also okay to tell somebody, you know what, if you're not ready to commit, that's totally fine. Come back to me when you are. Come back to me when you're really ready to commit for the 90 days, right? You guys have heard me say it before. The other thing that's really important, and I tried to do some research asking other people. We asked our coach, some of the jewels that had the lowest attrition. And what do people do? What do people on those teams do with their newbies? They get them on the phone. Elyson, who's the mother diamond, she's the diamond that everybody's under. She posted today, she runs the gym page for people who are senior Ruby and above. She happened to post today the number one thing for success and keeping people on your teams, getting them on that phone when they join. 3-way calls. She said 3-way calls. She even said if you can't schedule the 3-way call before they get their products, do the 3-way chats. It's very imperative to get people on the phone. If you're relying on emails or just voice messages, you are doing them a disservice, right? You have to talk about on the phone the products, the 90 days, the die-off. Make them feel connected. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses like I did in the very beginning that people don't want to talk on the phone. People do. I actually think nowadays it's refreshing once I actually get over the anxiety of like dialing it and waiting for somebody. It's refreshing to actually talk to people in person since we don't do it. Like get out from behind the screens, right? All the successful diamonds do it because it works. And so the sooner we can figure this out and just do it, I think the better our business is going to be. People who have a relationship and a connection and they know you care, they are not going to quit most likely in those first 90 days. When you're connected and you have support, you want to hang around. It's much easier to quit something when it's out of sight, out of mind, right? And I've definitely fallen into that trap where, especially in the first, say, 30 days, you're following up every single week. But after that, especially if they're feeling good, you stop checking in, or you stop checking in as often. And so if you have somebody that hits die off or has a little blip in their detox in 60 to 90 days, you lose them, right? They will never make it to 90 days if you aren't checking in with them. So I think we need to take the follow-up and the checking in that we do in that first month and expand it through the 90 days. And again, show them you care, right? It's not about just a blurb and this generic follow-up message. It really is showing them that you care and you're invested, and we are. That's why we shared with them in the first place, because they told us they had some sort of health issue and we knew Plexus could help them. That's why we shared with them in the first place, okay? Be engaged with them. The more you can be engaged with them, and I know this can get hard as your team grows and as you have more people, but the sooner we can do it and then teach our teams to duplicate it, the better. And really, it really comes down to I am most productive, I know you guys are too, when you sit down, and even if it's for 30 minutes, and you work your business. You don't do anything else. Like, instead of running around on your phone, for 3 hours, sit down for 30 minutes and be focused, okay? So be engaged with them. Always add them to the team page. Are they drinking their water? How's their diet? Do they need to keep a food log? Do they need to track their food in MyFitnessPal? How are their bowel movements? Do they need to, maybe they need some help, like Stacy had mentioned earlier this week. She thinks a lot of people, right, when they join for weight loss, they also need help on just how to eat healthy. I forget that people don't know how to eat healthy and what is healthy, right? Especially because, and if you look at what Dr. Travis Stork says in his book, his gut health book that he just came out with, he will tell you the medical community did us a disservice by having us do like the high-fat, low-carb diet with all this artificial diet food. And then they did us a disservice around making us think that low-fat was the way to go, right? Because people then are skewed and they don't realize like an avocado is healthy. I have a family member who will not eat an avocado because it's so full of fat, right? She doesn't understand that that's healthy fat. So a lot of times you need to be engaged, especially if you have somebody who wants weight loss. You have to, especially in those first 90 days, you've got to let them know they cannot expect major weight loss in those first 90 days. But if they want it, let's do a holistic approach. Let's talk about their water. Let's talk about their food. Also, let's get them on the new ambassador call. I know that those were getting way too long, so we're revamping it. It's going to be once a month. It's going to be the second Monday of every month, so we always know when it is. get them on the call. And this is not for those who want to work the business. This is for new ambassadors. We're going to talk about the products. We're going to share a testimony, and the other thing you can do that's so simple, go over their success kit. Once they get their products, call them on the phone real quick, Zoom with them, and I'm talking your level ones, and have them go over the success kit with them. I don't think we're utilizing our success kits like we could be. I mean, there's like an awesome thing in there that's 10 steps to starting your Plexus journey. The other thing you can do to help keep your newbies engaged, and especially if you're new and you just are on here, you're a wholesaler and you just want to be healthy, let's send them a video or a testimony that they can relate to, right? To help you focus on those first 90 days. So if you join for a certain health issue, it's up to us as their sponsor and their friend to help them see other people have had success who are just like them, right? And we can help them. We can help them with some small wins too, right? Like we know there's some small wins, whether it's, I can remember one day in like my third or fourth week where it dawned on me that I actually wasn't finishing all the food I was putting on my plate because I wasn't hungry. I was full. So I was getting fuller faster. And so that is a really small, quick win. But if you're not pointing it out to them in their first 90 days or even their first 30 or 60, right, they're not realizing that that's Plexus, okay? Now, you have to be careful because you also don't want them to think that just because you haven't quit the caffeine and you're not having amazing sleep and, that it's not working, because everybody's different, but try to find those quick wins with them in the first 90 days. Now, for people who join for the business, like Steve showed you, we add the most people we will ever add in our first 90 days to our team. So we really need to help our new ambassadors work their business for those first 90 days. I think that I'm guilty of it. It's easy to say, make your first post, get 3 people, right? That's what we tell everybody. Make your first post, we'll get some comments, and then you just need 3 people to silver. Use me in chats if you need to. Well, they don't know what that means. I mean, think back when we were brand new, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just did everything Sarah Taylor told me to do. I think we need to get back to being like that and telling our new people, this is what you have to do if you want to work this business and be successful when you're brand new. You must make your Frank's list. You must, of course, make your first post. We, though, have to help them on what that could be. I think they have to do some sort of launch party or do an online event, and we have to actually engage in 3-way chats, not just say, hey, use me if you need me. I think we have to have bold confidence is going to be like my new catchphrase for 2017. It's okay to tell your new person, hey, I'm excited for you. These are the 4 things you're doing. Let's get on a Zoom and let's do it. Because the bottom line is when you look at all of our data, both for product success and both for business success, the first 90 days will make us or break us. So that's all I had. Yes, so Stacy, I will give a YouTube to show how to go over the success kit. There are a couple that are out there, but some of it really, they just get on a Zoom with their new person and they literally have them go over everything that's in that kit. But I'll pull a couple videos up. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and